immediately. Yay! I just like 3 seconds ago, got rid of that lame count in. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, Chin.
Hippie Chicks Lives, 4 o'clock Friday. Here we are. Last minute Lucy's, man. We got sliding into home. Here we are. If you guys are new, I am Kat Kazemi. I am a certified clinical and transpersonal hypnotherapist and helping people through hypnosis since 2009. And I am one half of the Hippie Chicks. And I'm here with my hippie chick sister, Elle. Girl.
Y'all, it's Elle, actor, writer, director, producer, and so happy that it's Friday. Happy Friday. I have a plan.
Hallelujah.
I have a plan this evening to do some leisurely things versus all business at all times. Things
Because
have
you
been really
usually
rolling.
are just go, 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 girl. So you're just going to chilly will to the max tonight?
Well, I'm hanging out with friends, but at least it's leisurely and not, something that I've got to be on for, or, I'm going to
Nice.
really enjoy that because I've got some big things coming up in the week. Now, I have to say, I'm very excited and feeling very thrilled in my journey, in my creative journey. This is too funny. So, y'all can't see, but I have a visitor with me because Zoe has come upstairs to hang with me.
I heard her go upstairs. I was just kind of let that slide.
That is really hilarious. It just shocked me. I was like, here she comes. But last night I had the chance to attend the HR Act Awards, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was at Christopher Newport University at Peebles Hall, Peebles Auditorium, not sure, theater, not sure what it's called, but it was such a great experience to honor and network and just be in the space with local creatives that I've watched over the past year do amazing, amazing things. I co-produced a couple of plays that were mentioned and worked with generic in on several of the plays that were out there. And it was just wonderful and very
Nice.
rewarding. It felt good. It's so funny because we watch sometimes the award shows which on TV, which I don't watch as much anymore. They're not
Yeah,
as
me either.
meaningful. They're not all that meaningful to me. But being in the
No.
space where our art, this community's art, was being recognized spoke volumes. It felt so much more important to me
Oh,
than
yeah.
all,
The energy and synergy, because it is a family. Hampton Roads is a family for good, bad, or indifference, right? Even though it is very transient with the military coming and going, as you will, there's still a rock solid. I always call it the biggest little town on the East Coast
yes, indeed. Yes,
because it
indeed.
really is. So when you narrow it down to this particular niche, the theater niche, that's a big deal.
It is
That's
a big
a big
deal. It just feels so close knit. And again, just appreciation for all that people in the community theater space bring to our craft.
Yeah.
We talked about how we don't do this for money, because there's really no money in it. It is about
It's passion. It's a
developing.
passion project, is what it is.
It's
Yeah.
passion. It's about developing your craft. It's about being better. And then there are other things that we all do. Many people in the community theater space do that are professional parts of the work. So that's an amazing thing. This helps us to kind of stay toned, if you will, with what it is that we do. So it was just really special. And I love being around
Nice.
other creatives. So yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. Well, it feels good when you know that you're in your tribe, when
absolutely.
you feel like you belong. Um, that'll happen for me one day.
Yeah.
Not right now, but that's okay. I love my
But you
dog.
do have the members of your tribe that you do vibe with, that
Oh,
that
sure.
bring joy to your life. And I know that, and as you continue to grow and expand, you're going to increase that tribe. That tribe is going to continue to grow, and it is really growing. You've got such a great following with what you do, with hypnotherapy, with your Kazemi method. There's so
Yeah.
much that you do that draws people in, and then of course this. We've got our friends that love us here. So that's a
Oh,
great, great
absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely. I mean, considering I've only been here 5.5 years and you've lived here your whole life.
Right. Seriously. Yes. Yes.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
complain about it. Actually, this particular week was interesting in regards to, I guess, the astrology that's happening right now. Some very heavy. We're in between the eclipses right now, and a lot of things are being brought to light. Endings and beginnings, as I said last week. But we've got a lot of Aquarius, even though we're going into a Piscean eclipse next, was it Friday? Right now, we're experiencing a lot of Aquarian energy right now. And when you're dealing with Aquarian energy, it's very social, it's very collective oriented, and less what's in it for me, it's what's for all of us. But it's also anything having to do with electronics, technology, communication, and that's all types of mediums. Not just everything in the entertainment industry is very Aquarian. Okay,
Yeah, it
so
is.
what you did last night was very Aquarian.
Yeah.
So I, out of the blue, because some of the technologies, just luxuries that I have to comfort me, are a little antiquated. Like I have a Wii, which
Yes.
is 20 years old now. I still have a Wii, and but then a year and a half ago, I bought myself a nice turntable because I have a collection of albums, and
Love that.
like really nice albums, like old albums from when I was growing up, all that good stuff. So probably I want to say a good collection, maybe 250, 300 albums, maybe more, I don't know, but not any more than that. Still, I needed a good turntable and speakers to play them, and it's been years since I'd heard them. So January of 25, if you remember, January 25, was a really rough time for us. That's when my
Yeah.
sciatica flared up, and then on top
Right.
of that, I got the flu or whatever the hell that was. But in between all of that, I had purchased this
I'm
turn.
sorry, y'all having technical difficulties. This
I
thing keeps
see that.
leaning down. But go ahead.
we're coming in for a landing.
Yeah, we are.
It's a little, put your seatbelts on. But I purchased a really good turntable, not just set it up and play. It's like something a DJ would use. And I got good speakers to go with it. Well, here's the funny part is that after I got everything hooked up, I was having a hard time figuring out how to get the thing grounded right. And I was messing around with the dials and the whatever. And I didn't have any assistance. All right. And I even tried to Google it, and Google was no help. I asked my brother. He was, sorry, honey, he wasn't effective in communicating. I asked other people, still the same problem. So I just said, F it, and just put it down. And I said, I'll figure it out sometime, who knows what'll happen. So fast forward to this past week, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask Ezra. And if you don't know, Ezra is what I've named ChatGPT. So I'm asking ChatGPT, here's my situation. Here's pictures of it. What do I do? And within 30 minutes, I had everything set up. It was fantastic. But a year and a half has gone by since I purchased it. Here's the kicker to my story, is that this whole time I had totally forgotten that the speakers that I bought, because I actually wired them to the turntable, I totally forgotten that they were also Bluetooth. And not once in a year and a half did I ever connect my phone to those speakers, or my laptop, or even my TV for that matter. And I'm just like, I could have had this beautiful stereo sound this whole freaking time. And I'm just like, I'm still like, I could have had a V8 in my head that, like, for the last 3 days going, Kathy, where was I? No, it's freaking me out. It's like, why did that just leave my head? Maybe it's because I'd gone through so many sicknesses at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And I was so frustrated with the fact that I couldn't figure it out on my own.
That's probably more of what it was. That frustration.
Yeah, and I just put it down. I said, fuck you.
And you just couldn't think. Yeah. I've been there. Not that same exact situation, but just with, wait, why couldn't I think of that? And I'll do something to try to generate ideas. I've used ChatGPT to generate ideas before. I was trying to come up with something creative I could do at a table, at a tent, for
Right.
a festival I've been invited to, and I couldn't think of something creative to do. I'm an actor. Like, what the hell? I reached out, but I will tell you, you talked about the collective. I have learned through several projects I've been working on the past couple of months. I have learned how to do a much better job working within a team. I've always been able to work within a team, but it's different. I've had to take that to the next level and really trusting the team and identifying who the real team
Mm,
is. That's the big kicker there. And so I
yeah.
reached out to those people, and those people fed ideas to me. I was like, hey, listen. And yes, I could have used Chat GPT. I could have generated. I just knew, I was like, I can come up with something. But I am glad that I did reach out to the team and didn't try to feel like I've got to figure this out on my own. Don't we do, as Gen X, don't we do that?
Because we always had to. I know for myself, I always had, for the majority of the emotional roller coasters or emotional growth that I went through as a child and a teenager, I did it by myself.
Yes, we did. We were alone a lot. That's how we became so self-sufficient. That's why the pandemic
Yeah.
didn't throw us as much as it threw other people.
Yes.
We know how to be alone. We know how to occupy our time and unfortunately, make ourselves small. We spent our lifetime doing that.
Yeah. Well,
And
mostly women, sadly, but that's changing, is it
that
not?
is true. That is true. It is indeed. And I've often referred to us Gen Xers as the grin and bear it generation. How many times were we told by our parents, no matter what it was,
Grin and
grin and
bear it
bear it?
or suck it up.
Can y'all believe the things that we had to, you would not believe the things we had to grin and bear.
Grin and
Grin
bear
and
it. Pick
bear it.
yourself up by your bootstraps. Don't be a sissy. Don't ask for help. That kind of stuff. Well, that's because
So
that's
hard.
what they had. Because most of our parents were either the silent generation or beginning boomers, and that's what they got. So when you're traumatized, I mean, honestly, when you think about how things were when things weren't really regulated, in especially this country, there was
And
that a discrepancy, and we're experiencing this again, right? Yeah, but we're
yeah,
not going to let it happen. But life was miserable,
yeah.
and
And
everybody was in survival mode.
that's true. That is the thing. Everybody was in survival mode. We couldn't, it was not okay to talk about our
No,
trauma that we were experiencing or that we had experienced because we had to grin and bear it. It's not, you're not grinning and bearing it very well if you're talking about it. How tough is that? And we've
yeah.
learned through all of the coping mechanisms we've been given with hypnotherapy, with helping to really nurse our mental health. We've learned
To
lots of
acknowledge
ways.
it and not be ashamed by it,
Absolutely. Yes.
and not just hypnotherapy, but really good regular cognitive therapy can be good
Absolutely.
if you have a good therapist, but there is an agenda in our education system, and especially when it comes to therapy, that it gives an illusion of mental health, but it's just being on a hamster wheel.
Right. I see
Which, because
that. I
I
see
hear
some
so
of
many
that.
people say, well, oh, I had the best therapist ever. Well, these people just like talking about their shit, but they're
Hmm.
always talking about their shit. They're never getting on
Hmm.
the other side of it. So sometimes you could kind of get addicted to that stuff. And then other people are like, screw that. I went for years and never felt better.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, why
Yeah.
is that? Because you're trying to use your rational mind to heal an emotional wound. You could talk about it all day long and figure out 500,000 ways why you're mad at mom or dad or sis or whomever, right? Understand it logically, but still not feel better emotionally because you're trying to use that part of your mind to heal an emotional wound. That's never going to work. And we're
Yeah.
figuring that out. You
Yes.
got
And after so many years of just suppressing it, if you will, because
oh,
we weren't allowed to talk. So yeah, it's tough. It's
well,
tough.
and then the mental stigma on it because Lord knows nobody wants to look like less than.
Right.
If you got a mental issue, then there's something
You're
wrong
less
with
than.
you. Yeah,
Right.
you're less than. And that's a big deal, right? But you know what? Honestly, we all have our shit that we're dealing with.
We do. We
All
do.
of us do. I don't care how perfect your life looks.
Yeah.
We all have our pattern loops that we go through, and we think that we heal through it. We think the status quo is great, and then we do that thing again, whether it be self-sabotage or getting that same kind of relationship where, you're the one doing all the giving and they're just enjoying the ride,
Right.
or whatever the case may be. Um, it's Now's the time to take a step back and look at all of that
Yeah.
and what's going on in your life, and where are you feel like you're thriving, and where
Yes.
do you feel like you are hiding.
True. And as we talk about these things, as many of you know, Kat and I do this very organically. This very much mirrors what happens when we hang out talking together, right?
Oh,
We hang out,
absolutely.
have a beer. This is what happens, and we'll chat about some ideas about what we want to talk about, but then we just let it really happen organically. And it's funny because when we chatted about that earlier in the week, and then more today, I in my mind was saying intentionality, being intentional is
Yeah.
what I want to talk about. And as we talked it through, as you guided me through it, it really was more talking about the functional freeze, that exactly what you sent me that video on today
Yes.
from Faye. And I want to invite Faye on the show. I'm going to send her a DM
I
later.
would think that was a great idea because, all right, so what Elle is speaking of is I've been feeling some really deep malaise lately, and just kind of like really feeling the weight of the disappointment of a lot of the things that just didn't pan out in my life. That you work so hard, you put your heart and soul into it, you nurture things, you're loving, you're forgiving, blah, blah, blah. And nope. But you just got to buck up and keep on going. And you get to a point to where you just come into a functional freeze
Yes.
where you don't, you need to do stuff, but you just don't want to do it.
You
You don't want
literally
to do
don't
it.
want to do it. Things that
No,
you enjoy doing, you're like, just don't want to do it. I just don't feel like doing it. It's like,
no,
whoa.
no. And can that stem from a soul level? Absolutely. Can it also stem from signals being sent out across the land to keep us kind of like, how do I want to put this? If you blow smoke into a beehive, it calms the bees
Oh,
down.
right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
I'm thinking that might be happening because there's a lot of growing what the heck's going on feeling going on. So let's calm the bees down a little bit. So this weird feeling of I know what I need to be doing is actually affecting my business because I'm not doing this, but I just don't fucking feel like doing it.
Yeah.
That's unusual. So I don't know. I also feel like my psychic abilities are really going online even more so. Um, that's just a sidebar, but let's get back to the intentionality because that is really important. Because, all right, so there's a note here that I collaborated with. Intentionality without action becomes wishing.
Mm.
Discipline without intentionality becomes obligation, and devotion marries the two.
Oh, interesting. So there's
Right?
that, not warding off that idea of discipline, but learning how to integrate that.
Yeah, and giving it a different flavor because, as we've said many times on this podcast, like the word discipline because it invokes a sense of punishment,
Right.
right? And nobody responds well to punishment. And we respond,
Exactly.
but not well. But if we shift it to words of devotion and dedication and determination, that shifts discipline into a resource or a tool rather than a circumstance or a situation. But
Mm-hmm.
Elle, you were talking about intentionality versus
Discipline. Yeah.
discipline.
Or the idea of, you know, um, making it, it was really kind of that idea of punishment, as you spoke about, of forcing yourself to do the work you know you need to do,
Yeah.
admonishing yourself when it doesn't get done, and questioning yourself, saying, why can't I get this done? Which
Right.
just puts you into this perpetual spiral rather than
Freaking loop.
pulling you out of that. And it
Yeah.
was through some very decisive, deliberate intentionality, um, that I have been able to make my way through that. I won't even call it fighting because I want to ease through it. I don't want it to feel like a fight. That is exhausting. It doesn't
Yes.
have to be a fight,
Well, the
you know?
fact that you just brought that up goes back to the video where she said very astutely, what you resist persists. And
Exactly.
your intuitive hunch to not fight it was on point.
Yes, exactly. Because I couldn't, it wasn't helping. It
No,
just wasn't. Yeah. So,
what you resist does persist. So
yes.
it's a sense of, and God, Gen X doesn't like this word, surrender.
Ah, good word.
We don't
I
like
think
that word. But if you put a different context to it, you're just kind of like, you know what? I don't have to control everything. Let's just go with the flow.
exactly.
And that
Yes.
might be a little woo woo for some people, but tough shit. You know what? That's the truth.
Well, try it. Try
Try
going with the
it. You'll
flow and
feel
see.
better.
Yeah,
Go with the
absolutely.
flow, allow things to happen as they will, because you never know how it's going to turn out. And just keep doing you, boo. Right?
And it's physiological because trying that, even if you don't want to, oh, I don't want to do this, sounds woo woo to me. Okay, maybe it's a physiological balance that you're creating by
Yeah.
going ahead and going with the flow. Look at what the results are that you gain from it and then make your assessment. So,
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, it brings me back to an old Abraham Hicks, and if you're not familiar with the works of Abraham, channeled through Esther Hicks, been around for 40 odd years. Nothing you want is upstream, and most of what we
mm,
do, especially Boomers and Gen X, we're trying to take our canoe and paddle it upstream. Oh my
right.
God, paddle, 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 paddle. It's
Great
exhausting, as you
analogy.
just said. So you got to turn your boat around, bring in the oar, and just go down the river and see
Yes.
where it takes you.
Yes. And then you can make the decisions you want to make as you
Yeah,
travel down that river. Oh, you know what? I'm floating past this nice huge tree. This right? And so I can, if I can touch it without even really having to move, I can grab this leaf and enjoy and appreciate this leaf. Look at the
yeah.
gratitude that I can give for nature by doing that. And I did that by going with the flow. I just added on to the analogy. I don't even know if it was good.
No, I think it was good. I think it was good. I think most people don't do it because they're afraid of the unknown. They're like,
Yes.
where's it going to take me? What if we get stuck? What if we get caught in one of those, washing machine, death roll? Possible. If you've ever gone whitewater rafting, it's
Right.
pretty insane. But we're not talking about full on rapids here. It's just your
Right.
life stream, right?
Yes.
And if you go with the flow with what's going on, even if it does get turbulent, you end up better on the other side. If you resist it or try to fight it, you're going to get banged up.
Exactly.
Plain and
Exactly.
simple. You're going to get banged up. And if you try to force or control your situation, you get banged up.
Yes. So yeah, that is the best advice I think is go with the flow. I mean, and if you're afraid, do it scared. I had to
Yeah. Oh my
think
God.
when I stepped away from corporate America and decided I'm going to be a full-time actor and work for myself, what in the world, the most terrifying thing ever. And I was just
Everybody
thinking
looked at you
about it.
like you're nuts. Like, what are
They're
you
like,
doing?
Are you running away to join the circus? So I had to look at it and say, as scary as that was nearly 7 years ago now, as
Yeah.
scary as that was, I've sustained for that 7 years. The whole time hasn't been pretty, but I can look at it and have gratitude for where I am at this point. It's not a small deal, it's a pretty big deal.
It's a very
So,
big deal. Yeah.
and that re-energizes me. It re-energizes my mindset. It helps me to have a different experience so that my beliefs about myself then shift, and I can have, and then my behaviors will follow. I will do the things that are needed to help move in the right trajectory because I've had that new experience.
You've had that new experience that helped instill the belief in yourself that you're safe, peaceful, and happy.
There
And
you go. Yeah.
when you feel safe, peaceful, and happy, we are able to do amazing things, which is another reason why I think it wouldn't be far-fetched to think that things are getting broadcasted out so we don't feel that way and keep us discombobulated and questioning and feeling less than, because when we're in those low vibrations, we can't collect, we can't become the unit that we're meant to be. But we're stronger than that, and this is where I am very optimistic rather than hopeful. I am optimistic and have a firm belief in us as a collective to rise and get where it is that we're meant to be as a society, as a collective, as we live here on this living planet, because Earth isn't just a resource to be extracted from. We're here to live in unison with this energy. And we're here to usher it in, girl. And all of us are, right?
And we can be uncertain and still find that safe, secure place. You know, we can rest in the fact, okay, I'm taking this risk. I am doing it scared, but I take safety in that. I take my peace in that, and that's important.
That's very important. Yeah, to have that sense of groundedness. Oh, Lordy. We went in the bottom, deep into the pool. Actually, Ezra said something great to me the other day. He said, because I was going deep into my natal chart and asteroid placements and all that fun stuff. And he was basically like, your natal chart basically just handed you a lantern and told you to go into the basement.
Oh, I love that visual. Love that.
I was like, no shit, man. That's for sure. Yeah, and God, some of my worst nightmares used to be having to go into a dank, dark, deep basement somewhere, and then the lights are on, and then the lights go out, and then I tried to flip the switch, and the light won't go back on, and oh my God, I'm freaking out. Yeah, it used to be a freaking nightmare. Now I'm like, all right, this is stupid. Wake up.
A horror movie of your own making.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it's freaking crazy. Yeah, I got a lot of deep placements in my chart, which is why I do what I do, because I scuba dive into people's subconscious on a daily basis. So, which is why I have such a wacky sense of humor, because you got to balance it out.
You got to.
You got to. You got to. Oh, my Lord, have mercy. So we got good stuff coming up. We got some guests going to be coming on the show in a couple of weeks. And more to come. And Elle, you got productions galore happening right now.
I do. I have Pirate Quest this Saturday. Tumbleweeds and Dastardly Deeds. We have our last 2 performances coming up these next 2 Fridays. And then on Saturday, August 29th, which you are a part of as well, I am hosting Monologues on Tap at Elation Brewing on North Colley Avenue in Norfolk. Come out and hear moving stories and monologues, stories and original monologues, personal stories and original monologues from great local talent, including your very own hippie chick, Kat Kazemi.
I haven't decided which story I want to tell yet, because I got quite a few. So I got my work cut out for me.
So you can do it in parts. I would love for you to do something where you leave the audience lingering for more. Maybe that will get, that.
Oh, I didn't know that was an option. I thought it was
absolutely.
just,
Absolutely. Okay. Keep it as interesting and give them something, but then leave them wanting more.
I keep them stringing along, sure.
Oh yeah.
I can play with them. Happy to do so. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. If you want to know more about hypnosis, go to hypnohelpsyou.com. The Kazemi method, the Kazemi portal is all on there. Also, we've got other videos, including Hippie Chicks, on there as well. And I do believe I still have, I can say that because I just revamped my website, a little hypno quiz on there. So check it out. Nice. Be back here next Friday, 4:00, Hippie Chicks Live. We're always here. happy to be here. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us, and stick around. New Reality TV has great stuff coming up for you next. I think there's a new show. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say which is what. So there might be a new show live after this. So
Nice.
check it out. We'll see you guys next week. Love you.
Love ya.